You just gave us a layup. Speaking of New York.
New York City, please go easy on the Jets tonight.
Davante Adams, was this not the most no shit trade in recent memory? Like, hasn't this been unofficial since Derek Carr got benched by the Raiders and then Rodgers went to the Jets? Everyone kind of knew he's going to end up there one way or another. Last year, when the Jets played the Raiders, Davante goes up to him and like they didn't, but it felt like they were about to make out with each other. Like, bro, I miss you so much. Dude, I miss you too. I love you, bro.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see you. They went to Barry's Steakhouse. Shouts to Yasim and Barry's over at Circa. And he's like, dude, we just drank all this wine and we were just talking about life for 5 hours. It's like, bro, just get married with each other. You guys love each other. We get it. My favorite duo that I've seen, honestly, like quarterback wide receiver duo, them in Green Bay.
Our lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's my number one favorite. Like the back shoulder, the on 3rd and 8s, he would go to him, even though the whole stadium and the whole world knew. Like that's when you know that you have a certified stud. So it was like no shit. Adams went to the Jets, right? All of a sudden, the hamstring's fine. You saw the practice videos. He's good.
All of a sudden, cleared to go.
Yeah.
Raiders fans, sorry. Like, yeah, I know you guys were fucking booing me last week, but yeah, no, I'm ready to rock.
You ever seen were you a wrestling fan at all growing up?
Yeah.
So you've probably seen the meme of Kevin Nash when he was on WCW. He's in the wheelchair, and then he all of a sudden takes the blanket off and he stands up. And they're like, oh my God, he's standing. Yeah. It's like all the memes are that of Davante. Like Davante gets traded to the Jets. All of a sudden, the hamstring's fine.
Yeah.
We're back. It was cool though. I like it. I like it for the Jets. I like it for Davante. I like it for Rodgers. What are your thoughts? What did you think? Did you have the same sentiment I did when this trade became official?
When this trade became official, I lost it on you because this is all falling right into Aaron Rodgers' plan of I want to control the Jets, getting the coach fired, now being able to hire his best friend. Nick, this is going to end in disaster.
Oh, okay. I like that we have a different stance. Okay, cool.
Because the numbers favor disaster more than they do success. Now, before I give the rest of my answer, a success for the New York Jets this season would be what? Super Bowl? They have to win the Super Bowl, right? Or anything related to the Super Bowl. If they make it to the Super Bowl, it's a success.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Especially what the expectation was coming into the year. And now with this, yes, I agree.
Okay. So in order for them to do that, there's like a 5% chance that happens. They are so fucking bad that Aaron Rodgers has brainwashed them into thinking that Davante Adams is the reason why we haven't been successful. And it's just not the case. Their offense has yet to put up the amount of points that we thought they would. They stall out on drives often. And when you're kind of just implanting another premier stud and to an already like star heavy offense, I'm not seeing how this is the difference maker and making them be uber successful. It'll be cool to watch it happen, but I think it'll be even cooler to watch it burn this week. And I think that's what we'll talk about when we get into our picks, because we have a glaring difference in that game that I'm excited to touch on later on. But I don't like this Davante Adams, partially because I didn't get to see him this past week in a Raiders uniform. And I think he would have, made the game a little bit more interesting. He would have gave me like somebody on the Raiders to care about other than Brock Bowers. But we were fed up with it. Quickest trade ever. He literally said in the press conference today, he was like, I pretty much just told the Raiders that I wanted to go to the Jets and they made it happen, which is exactly the way it should happen when players don't give a shit anymore. Because what was the point of keeping him on the Raiders? So I don't know what the Raiders were able to get. They were able to get like a third round pick.
A third round pick, and then it becomes an additional second if they make the AFC title game or the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And he plays in it, which Oh, also, no, that's a really big caveat too, because say he was to get hurt and they make the AFC title game, they don't get that pick.
Right.
So he needs to participate in those games.
Yeah, so that's big, and I'm missing out on something here for the Jets. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. If this doesn't pan out, this is what's going to make people look at Matt Stafford and say Matt Stafford was a better quarterback. This is Aaron Rodgers going all in. Whether he likes it or not, in the social perception, you've gotten everything you've wanted, bro. If this shit doesn't work out now, your career is going to be tainted. And that's unfortunate because it was a hell of a ride. But people are going to look at Matt Stafford and be like, he was better.
Yo, I can't believe you said Matt Stafford, because I think Adams going there reminds me of the Rams last year. Puka young, Garrett Wilson young, grizzled vet gunslinger at quarterback, and you got the OG and Cup and Adams.
Yep.
And you saw what the Rams were doing. Hey, Stafford, you're throwing the ball 45 times, 31 targets are going to them too.
Yep.
Now, Alan Lazard, you're going to get 3 targets a game. Mike Williams, if you're there, after he got thrown under the bus for the mistakes that he's made the last couple of weeks, if you're there, you're going to get your 3 targets. Xavier Gibson will run a flea flicker or some dumb shit to you. And then Breece Hall out the backfield, who got going on Monday Night Football about time. Also, I think this is amazing for Garrett Wilson. I think this is because he already has the built-in relationship with Rodgers. Like, you saw 20 targets in London. Monday Night Football, he scored a touchdown. There's already something there. And now you bring in Adams, it's only going to help him, because it's what we say about the Bengals. Anytime Jamar chases out, people immediately bet the overs on T. Higgins. And I think on his receiving yardage, in the 9 games, in the 7 games that Chase has missed with T. Higgins, he's gone under those yardages. Why? Because now everyone's keying on him. He's the only legit threat on the field for the Bengals. He does better fantasy-wise and just statistically, which would kind of correlate to fantasy, when Chase is on the field. So now you got Adams, who, bro, they'll be able to pick up right where they left off. Like, I'm betting him to score on Sunday 100%.
Yeah.
Even if he plays 20 snaps, he's going to get red zone targets. They were amazing, bro. There's a whole compilation on YouTube, not that kind of compilation, you freaks, of Davante Adams in the red zone and some of the stick and goes. He does slant and goes.
I was going to say, bro, I think
routes.
Davante Adams is the best route runner in snow that I've ever seen, because he does that shit on ice. That was some of the craziest parts of that compilation that I saw were when there was white stuff everywhere on the field. But you were going to say though.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think it does everything. It's going to help Breece Hall. It's going to help the tight ends. This is going to help the offense a lot. Now the defense needs to tighten up a little bit. The defense, I think, is concerning. Maybe they get Hassan Reddick to finally sign. I know Will McDonald is like top 5 in the league in sacks, so he's been balling. But Sauce, we're going to need you to kind of step up a little bit, man. Sauce isn't having the season that he's had in the last couple of years. The secondary, which was supposed to be a strength of this team, has not been that. But I want to say with the offense, I think this is great, man. Adams, I'm not the biggest fan of wide receivers moving mid-season because there's a lot you got to figure out. Also, your timing with your quarterback, but there is timing there. They've had success. Like I said, the last decade when they were together in Green Bay, it was the most prolific duo in the league. It was like them and then Tyreek Hill and Mahomes. It was like that good and that efficient. So they're going to pick up right where they left off. And then, I think this is a telling thing, man. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And even though you had a relationship with this dude in college and that's your boy, circumstances get in the way, and maybe you shouldn't have left Rodgers in the first place. But I get it. Like, he made $140 million with the Raiders. Like, I would go also.
Yeah.
Right? You gave it a chance. You gave it 8 years.
Think about it. They had made their runs. Like,
Right.
yeah, when you look at the grand scheme of their careers, when they were in Green Bay and Adams left to the Raiders, it was a mutual parting, and it was beneficial for Adams. It hasn't just like come out and said like, I will only play with my best friends that I know the rest of my career. He should have said that, but he didn't. And now we have to make all these back end storylines as to why he's doing what. And now they're not going to be able to spread the ball out enough to make him happy. And they were really hinting at that in the press conference that they had with him. They were grilling him on, you do know there are a lot of weapons here. And if you're leaving the Raiders because you weren't being utilized, AKA the Raiders were a run heavy franchise before you even fucking got there. And then when you got there, they had to force feed you the ball to keep you somewhat happy. He hinted at, the reason I left the Raiders is because the only times they would throw it to me is when they were running a one high look. And even when I'm with Rodgers and they're too high, even though I'm being double teamed, I could still make plays. That's great, Nick. That's phenomenal when you are the only option. And he's not. And so it's going to go one of two ways. Okay. And there's no in between on this. The Jets will either be really bad for the remainder of the season and they will go maybe 2 games under 500, or they boom. And I sound like an idiot, but I really don't think that you can make this transplant midseason and have it succeed. We see this all the time in basketball.
Yeah.
With stars leaving midseason and we're like, is there going to be enough time to gel and blend even with their with their prior chemistry though? That's
where I would push back. There is prior chemistry there. It's not what we'll get to in a little bit, Josh Allen getting Amari Cooper, or maybe the first couple weeks, it might be shaky. You don't know your timing. You haven't had a camp together. It's different if they started the season together and they had a whole training camp and they worked in the off season and you knew. I like this because there's a prior relationship between the two of them. And I also think, to what you're saying as far as the targets and the opportunities now, if the team is winning, bro, winning covers everything. If you're getting 2 catches for 30 yards and you're losing by 3 touchdowns like he was with the Raiders, you're going to be pissed.
Oh, he's not going to be upset anymore. But I'm just saying that's the bullshit excuse that he gives for leaving the Raiders. Right. It's like, no, I wanted to go play with my best friend. You guys fucked me over as an organization. I'm out.
Which they kind of did also because they sold him on, Derek Carr is our franchise quarterback. And
a year after, he was out.
Yeah. Not even a year, bro. They benched him.
You're right. At the end of the year.
Yeah. So they couldn't even finish. And he's like, bro, you sold me on these, sunshine and rainbows and shit coming over to Vegas because I'm going to play with my boy. This is why I came here. And then you bench him? Yeah, I'm out. That's why I said, like, it got soured after that. And that's why he's like, bro, I miss you. And they're having these dinners and shit. And they always talk about each other. I wanna run something by you. I know I'm 0 for 1 so far on the Jets running the table and the schedule. The schedule in the beginning was hard, right? They played 3 games in 11 days. They had a London trip. They had prime time. Can I just read you the rest of their schedule?
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night, they play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Then they're at New England, home on Thursday to the Texans. Then they play at Arizona, home Colts, home Seahawks, at Miami, at Jacksonville, home Rams, at Buffalo, home Dolphins. They're 2-4. I see 2 losses.
And those 2 losses should be,
I would say,
the Texans.
I would say if they get through this week with Pittsburgh, I think that's just a wacky game. We'll get to, when we get to the pick segment, we'll discuss that. I think that's one of them. And then I'm not even saying Texans, Jets. I would say one of these weird, like in Miami. Like Miami just always has a thing for playing these teams tough in Miami. Or even like if Stafford shows up with Kupp and Puka, who apparently Kupp might be ready after this week coming back. Those are the kind of games. But bro, I see 2 more losses. That puts them at 11-6.
I just see so many one-score games.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and that's the other thing too.
But that's where I can't. When you have that many weapons and you're making such a big fucking deal over this duo coming back together, it's like, you guys better be winning by more than one possession. Make us believe, because to this point, you being this little fucking in-between team, it's not going to win people over.
Yeah.
Even if you are winning games, I will say that. It's like the Jets fans are looking for more. As they should. You guys are loaded. And I think they would agree with me too. We should be blowing these teams out. So we'll see. I do not think it happens this weekend.
So can I give you something that I think might be worth throwing a nice $20 or $50 on?
Yeah.
Jeff Ulbrich to win Coach of the Year. 75-1. We've seen an interim coach do it. Bruce Arians. Remember when Chuck Pagano he had cancer and he left the team?
Correct.
And then Bruce Arians came in and he kind of went.
Rich Bisaccia with the Raiders.
Did he win Coach of the Year?
It was early enough in the season for him to be. He might have came in second. I like it. We're at the quarter point though. Like we're like past the first quarter mark.
Yeah.
I think it's too late.
But I'm saying, so like right now he's 0-1. If they go like 9-2 to end the year, I just think 75-1. I've made way stupider decisions.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. And I'll say this for narrative.
Okay, yeah.
They're going to say Rodgers is the coach. It's the same thing that I've been laying out. That's the narrative that will get spinned that will have him not win that award.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So just based on narrative alone, that's why that one might not pan out. But I fuck with it.
So can I give you another one?
Yeah.
What about him for MVP? 50-1.
A-Rod?
Is there anyone right now that you could confidently say is shoe-in MVP, no question? Like, for example, Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm ready to burn my ticket. I think as long as Jaden Daniels don't get hurt, it's probably him.
It's him. Yep.
Yeah. Even though Caleb Williams hasn't been playing better as of late, like the whole body of work so far, because they might win their division, the Commanders. I don't know.
It's going to be, as of right now, it's Lamar is the front runner. Do I think like that's going to last? No. I think Josh Allen's in the best spot that he's ever really been in. Mm-hmm. Like usually at this point in time of the season, Josh Allen is like starting to fight back from like a really horrific start.
Yeah. He'll rattle off like 7 straight holy shit games in a good way. Yeah.
So he actually started off the season good this time. He had a little downward slide, but hey, we don't want to peak too early. That's another thing you got to look for in these awards.
And look, man, last thing I'll say on this, the Jets are plus 160 to make the playoffs. I think that is very interesting. To win their division, the Jets to win the division,
still tight.
plus 500, right? They have a 2-game deficit to Buffalo, and they do play them one more time. And the Bills' schedule is a lot harder than what the Jets have. It was something that we highlighted in the preview show. And if it wasn't for me already being financially invested in the Jets from the beginning of the year, I got some pretty big futures on them from anywhere from 18-1 to 25-1. You get them at 40-1, like we said on the Monday show. It was like them and the Bengals. I like doing this, man. Last year we had Buffalo. It wasn't around this time. It was around Thanksgiving. It was later, like right before Thanksgiving, and they won outright after. I like doing that because then you could have 2 dogs in the race. You know, like last year I had the Bengals from the beginning of the season. That crashed and burned, but even they got hot at one point. They went 4-1 in that tough stretch that they had. So, look, man, I think we spent a lot of time on this one. I like Adams going there.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course be the venison.
Dab, most dangerous game. killer beat.